Am I the asshole for telling my brother's girlfriend she is still annoying as when she was in school? This is a throwaway account. When I was in high school, I was not proficient in English. So I was in the average class instead of the advanced or AP classes. The rest of my classes I was in advanced track. My freshman year I was in an English class with Jenny. She was a class clown and she annoyed the shit out of me. Every single day she would do something to piss off the teacher. Usually it was interrupting the teacher or arguing with her constantly. The next year I wasn't in the same English class as her and I enjoyed it a lot more. Junior year I was in the same class and I couldn't deal with it. She still constantly interrupted people, argued with people and in general was a pain. I switched into middle of my junior class so I wouldn't have to deal with her. I am now 21. My brother was talking about his girlfriend for a while now and he brought her to meet the family today. It is Jenny. The first meeting did not go well, she kept interrupting everyone. I asked her to stop interrupting me twice. The third time she did this, I must have made a face because she asked what that look was for. I told her she is just as annoying as she was in high school and that she still hasn't learned to wait her turn. My brother told me to apologize and she was pissed. No, not the asshole. She was being rude and you let her know. Your brother being upset is no concern. Jenny needs to learn to be respectful, or she will continue to be called out for it. You don't need to put up with her shit because of your brother. Not the asshole. It's okay to let your brother know if there are red flags since you've known Jenny for a while. However, it's up to him to accept it. Not the asshole one bit. She was being rude and probably obnoxious and you called her out. You shouldn't have to deal with that, from anyone. I have a friend that is the same and when he drinks it gets even worse. Alone with him I just stop talking. In group, if the group ignores his interruptions then it works. Confronting makes things uncomfortable. Don't get things messy, she ain't nothing for you. Even if she becomes your sister-in-law it's not you who will live with her. Ignore her interruptions, hold your feelings. The key is, let her be the only clearly disrespectful person on the table. Not the asshole because I know how disrespectful and irritating it is. So I was in the average class instead of the advanced or AP classes. The rest of my classes I was in advanced track. NGLI have no idea how this is relevant lol but not the asshole. I'm sorry, did I interrupt the beginning of your sentence with the middle of mine? Am I the asshole for telling my uncle prison isn't a flex so stop talking about it in front of my kids? I have this uncle Jimmy, 50s, who went to prison for 15 years and made his entire personality. He's been out for 2 years and keeps talking about his time in prison and how it shaped him. He's not even successful by any means and is a cook at a fast food restaurant. I finally got sick of hearing it at a family gathering this weekend and he was talking about his prison name and how he got them. I told him I don't think going to prison a flex and stop talking about it around my kids because they will get the wrong impression about how prison is cool or something. My whole family thinks I'm an ass but I don't think going to prison for so long is flex and it's sad that he does this. My family and I was uninvited from the family 4th celebration tomorrow because they rather side with my uncle who is a felon than spend time with me and my family. I'm not backing down because I want a better example for my own kids, ages 6-11, than their great uncle teaching them prison is cool. Not the asshole. I want a better example for my own kids, ages 6-11, than their great uncle teaching them prison is cool. It's hard to imagine how anyone could disagree with this. But I mean, it's been 15 years. He ain't got much else to talk about. I can understand why you don't want your kids to think prison is cool. However, I took criminology classes and they mentioned people feeling isolated makes them more likely to re-offend. 2 years out of prison and being employed is really not bad. You are the asshole. 15 years is a long time. It does shape your life. Do you remember what life was like back in 2009? Things sure have changed a lot. His time in prison is literally all he has to relate to during this entire chunk of time. It's natural for him to reference it. It sounds like he's accepted this portion of his life but you haven't, and you are ashamed of him. It doesn't sound like he's flexing, just discussing reality. You can't hide reality from your kids, but you can shape them into understanding the real world and not make them afraid of their uncle. No assholes here. The guy spent 15 years in prison. He doesn't have much else to talk about and is still adjusting to his new life. He needs to be able to share his experience. The fact they are not inviting you to family gatherings has me thinking there's more to this story and how you handle the situation. Your kids don't to hear all the stories, so perhaps ask him to tone down the bad ones around them. It's also your job to speak with them in private and explain why your uncle is like that and went to prison. The 11-year-old is old enough to understand. I have this Uncle Jimmy, 50s, who went to prison for 15 years and made his entire personality. Wow, and my wife's uncle thinks he's hard because he did a night in the drunk tank 30 years ago. Am I the asshole for telling my nephew that if he leaves then he can't come back? My 9-year-old son is having a 4th of July weekend sleepover with his 2 friends and his cousin, my nephew. They will be leaving on Saturday. Last night I told the boys to go shower and brush their teeth. Everyone but my nephew jumped into the shower at the same time, which was odd. I asked my nephew if he was waiting for them to leave so he could have the shower to himself and he said no. My nephew said he wanted to go back to his house and shower there. I said no one is at your house except my other nephew who is 20 and it's 9 p.m. He said he'd walk home and come back. I said I'll drive you home but you won't come back. So you go take a shower now or you go home. He said he wanted to go home so I told my older nephew to pick him up. My brother called and said I was being unreasonable and how my nephew was crying that he couldn't come to my house. So this child house is walking distance, is uncomfortable showering at your house, and instead of being the adult you decide to punish him because he didn't follow your arbitrary rule? Is this just a "because I said so" kinda thing, or was there an actual reason? You didn't handle this properly. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. First of all, did you let 3 9-year-old boys shower together? If I were the parent of one of those friends, I'd be very uncomfortable with that. Second of all, it's really weird Thar you expected all the kids to shower at a sleepover. Did they play in mud all day? You promised to be responsible for your nephew that night. You can't just expect his brother to babysit either, no notice. The kid can be home alone to shower, but not overnight. Did you try to figure out why he didn't want to shower? Did you ask him? His older cousin? Your brother? No, it doesn't sound like you did any of that. You went straight to, shower here or go home and don't come back. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. If he didn't feel comfortable showering at your house, you can't force him. He could have come over after the shower. Why did you just make up that rule? To punish him for a totally normal feeling? The first word I muttered to myself after reading this was, asshole. You sound like you're the complete opposite of a cool uncle. You're the uncle with weird rules and a stick up your ass. Also, it's kinda weird that you're having the kids shower together. It'd be different if they were in a pool change room and showering, but having them all cram into a regular residential shower is just odd. You are the asshole. I can think of several reasons a child would not want to shower in someone else's house, and having to navigate your expectations while looking after his own needs at 9 years old is a lot. Poor kid. I feel awful for him. Am I the asshole for not giving my bridesmaid dress away? Backstory. My cousin, Mary, who I was never close to, got engaged and asked her bridal party a month or 2 in. I wasn't asked, didn't care as we're not close. My other cousin, Lisa, who has cancer, was the matron of honor, no surprise here. They were always close. Mary's sister-in-law to be is the maid of honor. I was also never close to Lisa either and actually had not spoke to her for almost 6 years, but when she got sick, I reached out, no motive beyond wanting her to know I was thinking of her. Edit to clarify. Lisa is older than Mary. I am younger than both. Lisa and Mary always left me out growing up. I did not attend Lisa's wedding years ago due to family drama and as a result did not speak to her for about 5/6 of a year. When I heard Lisa was sick, I reached out. We began talking and at this point speak almost every day. Both of us seem to have put the past behind us. Mary gets engaged late summer, early fall 2023. I congratulated her but also didn't think I'd be invited to the wedding given we don't talk. Closing parenthesis. Fast forward 2 more months, I got a random call from Mary asking if I wanted to be a bridesmaid. I was surprised but agreed, figuring I'd get to spend time with Lisa and maybe create an adult-cousin relationship with them both. 2 weeks later, Mary sends a text to Lisa kicking her out due to her
having a lot going on due to having cancer and being unable to do wedding stuff.
I also drop out because I felt used and like a replacement. When dropping out, I offered to give the dress, which I bought, to my replacement. I never heard anything, so I donated the dress. Edit to add. It had to be more than 2 weeks looking back.
Maybe it was more like a month and a half?
Nevertheless, when I got the invite for the bridal shower, I checked the wedding website and saw that there was no bridesmaid added in my place.
A few weeks after that, I went to donate the dress.
All in all, I waited almost 2.5 months before donating the dress.
The bride had given a deadline to order the dresses in order to have the same batch of dye for all dresses, so if she was going to replace me, I figured she would have done so sooner than later. This week, I get a text from the sister-in-law asking for the dress, not offering to pay for the dress, just asking me to send it to her house and she would pay for shipping. I said I donated it and I'm accused of conspiring with Lisa when giving my response.
So I told them what I really thought of them kicking Lisa out of the wedding.
The response was extreme, stating that me, and the rest of my family, have mental illness, calling me stupid and unable to think for myself, etc. Am I the asshole for not giving her the dress and ultimately not planning to attend the wedding at all?
Not the asshole. Surely you must know that you aren't. At no point here have you acted in an unreasonable manner. I urge you to learn to live by your values and not be influenced by hateful, selfish people into doubting yourself. AITA.
Kind of a confusing story, but it seems pretty immature to kick a person out of a wedding party because they had cancer and couldn't attend a few things.
Kick a person while they're down.
Bride sounds immature. It all sounds very immature.
I wouldn't worry about donating the dress. Oh well. Not the asshole. Your only possible mistake was offering the dress in the first place. You bought it. It was yours to donate, sell, or return, if possible, as you saw fit.
Your cousin sounds a bit stupid if she thinks anyone would be comfortable with the situation she put you in.
Not the asshole. Bride sounds awful. On day of wedding, go take Lisa out for a spa day and post a ton of pictures.
With hashtags saying best day ever or whatever the bride would fume over. Better if you can pose in the dresses doing stupid crap too.
Not the asshole.
Mary kicking Lisa out due to her having a lot going on due to having cancer and being unable to do wedding stuff is very sick.
You offered to give the dress that I bought.
You said that you dropped out because you felt used and like a replacement, and why not due to Mary's behavior towards Lisa?
You bought the dress.
The dress was yours. It doesn't matter what you bought it for, it was still yours.
You had no need for the dress, so you donated it. Not the asshole.